We've been wanting to do this, but we wanted to get the timing right, and we've got so much going on. And frankly, Chuck has literally hit the ground running in the time that we hired him with trying to do everything that he needed to do. It took a little bit longer because of the work he was doing with the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I was complete agreement with, because when you're hiring somebody that people don't want to lose, especially somebody as successful as the Thunder, that only makes you feel better. But we wanted to bring Chuck in, and we wanted to time it when his wife Lee was going to be here. And first and foremost, it's a great honor to have Chuck and Lee Martin here, their family, getting ready to join us. Chuck is someone that I have known for some time, but as much as I didn't know him as well as I knew his reputation, and had mutual friendships that had respect for him, and had seen the work that he had done over a period of time, going all the way back to UMass, and then certainly with Drexel, and then competing against him in the Big East when he was at St. John's with Norm Roberts, and seeing what he did in a short period of time, really not only with the recruiting at Memphis, but with the player development at Memphis. And when you're going to make a hire, you've got to make your staff as good as they can possibly be, and be as well-rounded as they can possibly be. And recruiting is a part of it, but teaching, skill development, all those things are a really big part of it as well. But maybe the biggest thing, and this is where it came back to constantly, after I targeted Chuck, when Kenny Johnson left to go to Louisville, and when I had targeted Chuck as somebody that had a strong interest in and started to make calls, the common thread that came back to a person was what kind of person he is. All right, to the terms of great guy, really good person, great man, great coach. Those are the kind of things that excite you, because I'd already seen the intellect and the knowledge and the personality in the sense of what he had done in college coaching and what he had done with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And to me, what it kept coming back to me for how I felt talking to Chuck, when he would come in here and we would talk basketball when he was coming in with the Thunder, as I was talking to another great coach. He happened to be scouting for the Thunder, but I was talking to a great coach. And he inspired me, and he gave me ideas, and actually some things that we actually even put in. And it reminded me right away of how I felt when I first started to see Benny Seltzer, when he was with Kelvin Sampson at Oklahoma, and then working with him in USA. And when you get inspired by other people, and you're looking forward to seeing them the next time, I think that's a great trait, and I'm always looking for that. I mean, I want as complete a staff, but I don't want to look at a staff and say, well, I don't know if they can do this, I don't know if they can do that. They've got to really be able to do everything. And the thing about Chuck is he's done it, because I covered everything that he's done as an assistant, what he's done with the Thunder, but he was also a head coach. And when you have been a head coach at a place like Marist, and you've had to bring the balls out and sweep the court and handle everything, and Lee making sure that she's the mother away from home for those young people, there's just you can't put a value on the experience of somebody that's done it at every level, but somebody that has worked their way up without that silver spoon. And sometimes it can happen in staffs, it can happen with teams. You can wake up on third base and thought you hit a triple. It's not how it works. And I really appreciate the way that Chuck has been with me for a while. And but when we got in depth with this, it was clear that we needed him, and that he could bring a lot. He could bring a lot not only on the court, but he could bring a lot off the court. He could not only bring a lot in recruiting, but he could bring a lot in the sense of player development. So I couldn't be any more excited for myself, for the staff, for this program, and for the university to have Chuck and Lee Martin here with us. So I'll turn it over to Chuck.
Well, thank you for coming. I say Lee and I are really honored to be a part of the culture and the tradition here at Indiana. It really is second to none. You know, we did our homework before making a decision to join Coach Crean and his family here, and I'm honored to be a part of Coach Crean's staff and his family. I feel the same way about him. I've watched his career throughout the years and have enormous amount of respect for what he's been able to do not only on the court, but quite honestly, what he's been able to do academically here in Indiana the last 4 years with the APR has been unbelievable. And then you couple that with the success in the draft. You know, when he called me and said, hey, would you like to be a part of it? For me, it was a no-brainer. I wanted to be a part of something special. And clearly, Indiana and Coach Crean is something special.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open up for questions. Just raise your hand. I'll call on you. Pete?
Yeah, I guess, Chuck, maybe just first off, maybe elaborate more what drew you to Indiana when you got this opportunity.
Well, again, the history here, you just can't deny it. The things that have taken place here at Indiana are really unbelievable. But more importantly, I think the connection with Coach Crean. Every job that I've taken in my career has been an immediate attraction and connection with that person. And those people have really helped me throughout my career. And every decision I've made in my career has been because I felt like, A, he's a good person, and B, I'm going to learn something. I clearly learned something with the Thunder. It was a phenomenal year. I learned a lot in 12 months. And I feel that way with Coach Crean. You know, I really want to be a part of the staff. I wanted to be a part of the staff because I felt like I would be better. And that's kind of how I've made all my decisions in my career. You know, who can help me develop, who can challenge me as a coach, as a person, and I'm willing to go through the challenges to grow. And that's really it. You know, there's a chemistry with Coach Crean right away.
Terry?
Tom, you talked about player development. Is there a certain, I mean, will he work with bigs more than guards, or have you figured all that out yet?
Well, that's, you know what the beauty of it is we don't have to figure it out yet, because he can do both. And anytime you've been a head coach, you have an understanding of both sides of the ball, all positions, things of that nature. He's worked with some outstanding coaches. And the common theme for the programs that he's been with, different people, different personalities that were the people that he worked with at St. John's, UMass, and Drexel, and at Memphis, but all very, very good teachers that said the same about him. And to me, one thing that when I've done this, I've made my best moves is put him on the floor to see how he was. We had him work out some of the managers, some of the graduate managers, and not only was I observing what he was doing and picking it up, but I was taking notes. And when you get that, you just feel really good. We've had great discussions on offense. We've had great discussions on defense. We're looking at something last night. I'm studying some film. He comes in here and shows me every facet of this certain sideline out of bounds that he ran and had success with. That's the kind of stuff that stimulates me, makes me better. And that's what I want the entire staff to have. As we sit right now with this staff, every member's been a head coach at Division I level. And that's pretty strong. I'm not sure there's a lot of staffs that could say that, and frankly, I'm not sure there's a ton of head coaches that would want that. But I do, because I think it's all about, the thing about recruiting, if you can't teach and coach and make players better, eventually your recruiting is not as important, because what's going to happen is, when you sign them and they get there, they're not interested anymore about the recruiting. They're interested in, can you really make them better? Can you make them better, and will you really spend time with them? And to a man, that's what came back, you know, with Chuck and the relationships with players that he has. And then I think the added thing is what he's seen of being with the Thunder. There couldn't be a lot better franchises when it comes to preparation, intel, detail, true values, sticking with it and building something from the ground up with what the Thunder have done. And I know that they didn't stand in his way of leaving, but also know they didn't want to lose him. And I think those are really good things, because when we've had somebody that's had that NBA experience on our staff, most recently it was Calvert. When I was back at Marquette, we had someone like Jerry Seasting, who's now lead assistant with Phoenix. When you bring in somebody like that, that automatically is going to get recruits and players' attention. Not just because they did it, but because they absolutely know what it takes. And the fact that we've had 3 lottery picks in the last 2 years, and the only other program in the country that can say that is Kansas. And for the most part, our guys didn't come in 1 or 2, 3 in the country. And Victor didn't have 1, 2, or 3 scholarship offers. You know, so development is going to be a huge piece of it. So both ends of the ball, both sides of the court, both ends with the guards and the bigs, I feel really comfortable with him doing either one.